Hi everyone, we are going to go over exercise 3.1a, number 36 and number 37. And I just wanted to remind you that these videos are to help you out after you've tried to do the problem yourself. So go try these problems, and if you get stuck, then come watch the videos. If you don't get stuck, great, you don't even need to watch these videos. So 3.1a we're going to start with number 36, and I mixed them up. Here we go. Number 36. So for number 36, it says, after reading some from the next section, try to solve this problem. So I went and looked, and what they want you to read is page 103 through 106. So if you tried to do this problem without reading those pages, then I suggest you go back and read those pages, try the problem, and then come back and watch this video if you still get stuck, okay? So, but if you've already read those problems and you've already tried this, then go ahead and finish watching the video. So here's the problem. Two numbers add up to 94, and the first one is 26, more than the second one. Find the two numbers. I love these kinds of problems. Once you figure out how to solve them, then they're pretty straightforward. But when you first read them, you're kind of like, whoa, what am I supposed to do? Okay, let's break this up and figure out what we're doing here. We have two numbers that we're trying to find. So let's just say our first number, we're going to call it A. We're going to give it a variable. And our second number, we're going to call it B. And it says here that they add up to 94. So let's write that down. We know that A plus B equals 94. They add up to 94. That's pretty straightforward. And the first one is 26 more than the second one. All right? The first one is 26 more than the second one. That, when you read it, it's kind of hard. What do they want us to do there? We know that this first one's going to be bigger, right? And the second one's going to be smaller, right? So this one's bigger, this one's smaller. But by how much? This one's 26 more than this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first one, we're going to take 26 off of it, and then it will be the same size as the second one. So we're going to take A, take 26 off because it's 26 bigger, and now it's equal to the second one. So from all this information, I have written two equations, this equation and this equation, and they each have two variables in it. Now the cool thing about math is if you have two variables and two equations, you can figure them out. You can solve for those equations. If you have three variables and three equations, you can solve. If you have four variables and four equations, you can solve and figure them out. Okay? If you have one variable and one equation, then you can solve and figure it out. But for two variables, you have to have at least two equations to be able to figure out what those variables are. So we have that. Two variables, two equations. So right here we have A plus B is equal to 94, and then we have A minus 26 is equal to B. Well, we know that B is the same thing as this right here. So we can actually put this in the place of B up here in this equation. So we're going to take this whole thing and put it in place of B because it's the same thing as B, right? And then we get A plus, we're going to write A minus 20. We're going to put it in parentheses to make sure that we don't have to distribute anything, right? And then is equal to 94. So we write this equation exactly down here, but in place of B, we're just going to put this right here. A plus A minus 26 is equal to 94. And when we get down to this point, we look and see, okay, is there anything that I need to do to A minus 26, okay? Is there any number, is it being multiplied by something that I need to distribute? If there was a negative sign out here, I would have to distribute that because that would mean that it was being multiplied by a -1. There's no negative sign, there's nothing that it's being multiplied by, so I can actually take off the parentheses now. A plus A minus 26 is equal to 94, right? And now I can combine my like terms over here on this side. The A and the A, they both have the same variable, so they're like terms. And that means I have 2A minus, I'm just going to write the rest, minus 26 is equal to 94. Now I want to get A by itself, so I'm going to add 26 to both sides. Plus 26, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's 120. And what I have left over here, these two add to 0, and we have 2A is equal to 120. Divide by 2 on both sides, and we get, these divide to 1, so we have 1A left over there, and 120 divided by 2 is 60. So we found out that A is 60. that's great, but we're not done yet because we need to find out what b is still. So we need to use one of our equations up here. So let's just use this one. This one's pretty straightforward. So a minus 26 is equal to b. And we're going to put 60 in place of a. 60 minus 26 is equal to b. So we find out that b is equal to 34. All right. And we can go back and check this. We can put 60 and 34 up here. 60 plus 34 is equal to 94. That checks out. And then say 34 minus, 60 minus 26, does that give us 34? Yes, that checks out. So those are our answers. All right, let's do our next problem. All right, 3.1a, number 37. Oh, where's my pen? Here it is. Okay, so find the missing variable for a cone. So we are working with a cone here. That's an important piece of information. So we get out our formula sheet and come down to cone, and we have surface area, SA, surface area. That's what we're looking for because the surface area is given to us. So this is our equation that we need right here. So surface area is equal to pi RL plus pi R squared. So let's write that down. All right. So surface area is equal to pi RL plus pi R squared. We're going to take these numbers and put it in place of these variables. And this right here, this is the one that we're trying to find, is L right there. So we're going to solve for L, and then that will give us our answer. So in place of surface area, we're going to put 622.04 is equal to pi times R, which is 9, times L, plus pi times 9 squared. Now at this point, remember that pi is just a number. So we're going to, take the pi times the 9 and figure out what that number is to make this a little bit easier for us. And I'm using my phone because unfortunately my children broke my scientific calculator. So this is what I have left. So 9 times pi, there's a pi button on your calculator, gives us 28, here let's write the rest of the equation, 622.04 is equal to 28.27 L. Now the number, as you can see on here, it's a really long number. It probably goes on and on forever. But we are just going to cut it off at the hundredths place because this one right here was cut off at the hundredths place. So we're going to follow the same pattern and cut off at the hundredths place right there. So we rounded it right there at the hundredths place. So we have 28.27 plus pi times 9 squared. So you can use the squared button, or you can do 9 times 9. So we're going to do 9 squared times pi, which gives us 254.47. Okay? Now, I wanted to point out here, sorry, you do the exponents first and then you multiply. That's the order of operation. So I did 9 squared and then I multiplied it by pi. Make sure you do it in that order. Otherwise, you will get the wrong answer there. Okay? So now we have a number equals a number times L plus a number. And we're solving for L. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract 254.47 from both sides. 254.47. This adds to 0, and we're left with 28.27 L on this side. And over here, this is why we love our calculators, 622.04, just a second, Hal, minus 254.47 gives us, I'm almost done, sweetie, just a minute, 367.57. Now we're going to divide by 28.27 on both sides. This divides to 1, and we have 1 L over there, and then we have 367.57 divided by 28.27, and you get 13.00, which rounds to 13, and that's our answer. If you have any questions, please let me know.